Hello, hello. Okay, I'm gonna invite my friend Amanda Bush on here, and we are gonna talk loose skin because Amanda has lost 100 pounds. So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about how she has minimal to no loose skin. And then we're gonna talk about why we are both switching from a synthetic GLP-1 to a natural GLP-1 activator. There she is. Hi,
Hey,
Amanda.
Tracy, how are
I
you?
miss you. Oh my gosh, somebody's painting our house. And Tilly keeps seeing them out the window and then freaks out. Of course she has to do it right now. Sorry.
Fine. Oh my,
Okay, hi Amanda. I was just telling everyone you have had amazing results using synthetic GLP-1.
yeah,
And you've lost over 100 pounds. So we want to talk about that, but we also want to get into why you don't have any loose skin. Because typically when people lose 100 pounds, they have a whole bunch of loose skin. So will you tell us your little story?
sure. So I don't want to say I don't have any loose skin. I do have some loose skin, but I have significantly less than I would expect or that someone else. I've seen other people who've lost the amount of weight I have. Um, so I've always been, okay, I don't want to say always. I was not overweight pre having babies. I was always a very small, skinny person. I never had weight issues. Then I had 3 babies in 6, 7 years. And in that time, I went from pre my first pregnancy, I was like 140 pounds. Post my last pregnancy, after healing from giving birth, I was about 220. And I just sat right there, 200, 220, gained and lost 20, 40 pounds. Then I'd gain more, then I'd gain more. Then I'd lose 20, then I'd gain 40, and then I'd lose 10 and gain 20. And it was this ongoing cycle for my youngest is 21 years old. So this has been a thing for decades. And I just couldn't lose the weight. I couldn't keep the weight off. So I could lose it, but I could not keep the weight off. As soon as I stopped restricting, I stopped like counting every calorie, I stopped torturing my body. As soon as it was so restrictive and abusive to my body to lose the weight. And as soon as I let up at all, so quickly the weight came back on. And then I had an appointment with my practitioner, who also happens to be my sister. And she ran all my numbers. And at that time I was 270 pounds. And she laid out my numbers. And I had a little grandbaby that's going to make me emotional. My oldest grandson at the time was about 6 months old. And she said, if you want to see Quinn grow up, you have to make some changes. You will not be here in 20 years. I was pre-diabetic, PCOS. I have some other underlying long-term health issues. And she said, everything is leading to you ending up diabetic. We have a family history of Alzheimer's, which is type 3 diabetes. My father died from Alzheimer's. And about the same time, I watched the end of my father's 10-year struggle with Alzheimer's and we lost him to Alzheimer's. And as she was telling me that this was going to happen to me if I didn't make some significant changes in my life, I was like, okay, that's it. What do I have to do?
Right.
And this was about the time that semaglutide first started hitting the market and started being used.
Because I was on it, and
Mm-hmm.
I remember you and I talking a lot about it.
Yep. You were the only person I knew at the time. I didn't know anyone. And even my sister, as my practitioner, she was having to Google and do research. She's like, I know this thing is out there, but I don't know how to help you. Like, I don't know right now how to help you get it. So let's figure it out. And so with your guidance on different things and then working with her, I went through all of the different options. I did compounded semaglutide through an online pharmacy. Then I did Mounjaro, like the actual Mounjaro injections that I bought from CVS through a prescription. My insurance refused to cover it despite my health issues. Switched to Zepbound, was on that. At this point, I was paying, I don't know, $600-700 a month for my injections, but it was working. And the amazing thing about the way the GLP-1 hormone works, and you and I both went through this at the same time, like there was such a stigma around cheating.
Right.
Like how, I don't know how anything you do to get healthy could possibly consider cheating, but that's definitely a stigma out there. And the shocking thing is when I started using these medications was 20 years of torturing myself to lose weight ended. I was giving myself a hormone that my body needed to release the excess weight and heal itself. Mm-hmm. So there was no willpower involved anymore. I was choosing healthier foods. I was eating less. I was drinking more water, all the things I was supposed to be doing, but without having to say, you can't have that cookie, or you can't eat that, or you can't eat that. I just was eating less without the willpower.
And I feel like something that not everybody understands, there's all this calories in, calories out. If you have a hormonal imbalance, like you and I do, I could fast for 36 hours once a week, make sure I get my protein in, get my steps in, lift weights, and my scale would not budge. So it's not always as simple as calories in, calories out. My body needed to be rebalanced. And so I would never judge anybody for using what we've used.
Yeah, no, and absolutely. And the new science behind being overweight or being obese, I was obese, morbidly obese, is it's absolutely not a calories in, calories out. There is a hormone imbalance where your body, I don't want to get into all the science, but the way your body makes GLP-1, everyone's body makes GLP-1, or should. There's actually studies that say severely overweight people, their bodies don't make GLP-1. And GLP-1 tells your pancreas how much insulin to release. It tells your pancreas how to balance your blood sugar. It tells your intestines how to digest your food. It tells your brain if you're hungry or not. So if you're missing that hormone, your body doesn't know what to do. And that's what was the case for me. So when I started using a synthetic, it wasn't super fast weight loss like in the years before. That was a big mind shift for me, because before, when I would lose weight, like I always lost the most weight on keto, and I could lose 7-10 pounds in a week. Like I could drop 40 pounds in 6 weeks, no problem. I couldn't keep it off, but I could lose it. As I was healing my body, 2 pounds a week was pretty typical. I was on the medication for a year. I'm still on the medication, but over the course, on my 52-week, on my 52nd injection, I hit 100 pounds weight loss. And that's 2 pounds a week. And it's a long, slow process, but it's sustainable. Like I never felt like I couldn't have something I wanted, but I didn't understand the food noise. So you've dealt with food noise, right?
Yep.
I never understood when I was like traveling with my family or my husband, right? And like you go to get on the plane and you have to go get your snacks and your drinks and make sure you have what you need when you get on the plane. And my husband's like, I'm not hungry, I don't need anything. I'm like, that's not the point. Like we gotta make sure we have it. And then when I started the medication, and I was like, oh, I literally am not thinking about what I'm making for dinner. I'm not thinking about whether or not there will be food at an event I'm going to, or if there's something I'm allowed to eat. Like that just went away. And it was life altering to have my mind be clear. Like today I work a ton of hours at my desk, and I was like, oh, it's 1 o'clock. I haven't eaten. I need to go feed myself. Went into the kitchen, opened the fridge, found some leftovers, heated up, ate my food, done. Like there's no obsessing. The fridge is full.
Next, we got to work on you using a microwave. I got to stop that.
But I have a fridge or a pantry full of junk food because I have grandbabies and I buy them junk. Their mother doesn't love me. It never crosses my mind to go pull the junk out. Or like watching, you just eat what you want.
Right.
But you don't have to keep eating it. Like 4 M&Ms and that's all I need.
Right.
I don't have to tell myself I can only have 4 M&Ms.
If you get satisfied so much more quickly. Which some people in the comments I'm watching, they're asking like, how do you get started on a GLP-1? We're talking about what the GLP-1 did for both of us, but we're also going to talk about what I'm on now and what Amanda's going to start next week, which is activating your own body's GLP-1 hormone, because everybody has it, but we have to turn up the volume, I guess, to get it to do what it's supposed to do, just because of sedentary lifestyles, age, all the toxins that we're exposed to, the processed foods, like that slows it down. So just hold on, because right now we're talking about how a synthetic works, but Amanda has only been on it a year. I was on it over 2 years, and I lost 35 pounds, which is what I needed to lose to feel good and recognize my body again. I was never like emaciated, skinny. Like it was just, that's where my body looks and feels good. But then over the second year, I think it was about 18 months in, I started gaining the weight back. It was about a year ago right now when the scale started creeping back up. And even if I would increase my dose, it didn't help. I was still gaining the weight back, and I was having really bad side effects. I've never in my life had anxiety, and I was having these panic attacks where I'd wake up and be like almost paralyzed. With anxiety, I was having stomach pains. And so although it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to help get your body and your weight under control, like any prescription or foreign thing in our body, there's gonna be side effects. So we're gonna talk about this activator that is launching a week from today. And so stop calling me. Nobody calls me until I'm on a live. First, can we talk about C friend? And Amanda was taking powdered collagen and she was sharing it on her stories, and I had to have some words with her. So let's talk about that, and then we'll get into the
Into
GLP-1
the
activator.
activator. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Tracy and I met in like 2022, and I don't know how long it was after you and I met that you told, it wasn't long, but I was sharing about just a powdered collagen I was adding to my bulletproof because I was keto at the time. And Tracy sent me a text and was like, don't drink that crap. And she gave me all the things that were in it. And I was like, that's gross. But and she was like, I promise you 10 days and you will see results. And I'm like, you're full of it. I do not believe you. There's no way I'm going to see results in 10 days. So just more to prove Tracy wrong than anything else, because when I went to buy it, I was like, that's kind of pricey. But what was interesting is just some point right before you and I talked, I had been with my sisters and I had been talking about getting Botox. I didn't want to it. I'm like, I'm not doing the injection. Like, I don't want to do it, but I had really bad 11s. I was starting to get really strong marionette lines. And I was like, oh, I need to do something. So when Tracy's like, in 10 days, you'll see a difference with this. And I was like, okay, let's prove Tracy wrong. And I started taking it. And I have pictures. I have them on my highlight bubble. Like, I mean, you've seen my before. It's so funny because I totally look dead. Like it.
My favorite thing is that's what your husband said. He said, why do you look dead in your before? Like that's totally something my husband would say. Her just go look at her highlight bulbs, or she's in mine. Like we both have collagen highlight bubbles. Look at her before and afters. Like it is insane what it did for her.
It's completely different. It's funny. I have a bunch of sisters, and one of my sisters, every time she sees me, she's like, Amanda, you are aging backwards. I mean, I'll be 50 this year. And I look younger. Like that before picture you shared, I mean, obviously I was 100 pounds heavier, but that was 2021. That's 4 years ago. And I look, in addition to my weight loss, but even my before and afters that I share with my collagen, that's all at the same weight. That's all at my high weight. And you can tell my 11s, it's just.
It looked like you got an eyelid.
Yeah,
and like your eyelid lift in your 30-day pics.
Yeah, I have really heavy lids, and it significantly helped my lids. And the other, for me, I mean, all of that's just bonus. But the other two things that were huge for me, I have two herniated discs in my back that at times in my life I have been had to be on bed rest. Like my physician is like, we have to reduce inflammation. We're going to do all these things, including bed rest. And when you and I used to work together, I was always in my bed working on a movable desk because I could not move because of my herniated discs. This collagen has helped repair, helped reduce the inflammation that was making my discs so bad, as well as I was on it the entire time I was losing weight. And because I was on it, and what's amazing about it is you're not supplementing your collagen. Your body, when you take that, it's making your body produce collagen the way it did in your 20s versus the way it does now in my almost 50s. So that's how this collagen works. And because it was doing that, my body was replenishing the collagen so quickly that as I was losing 100 pounds, I do have some loose skin. I don't work out. I think if I worked out, I probably wouldn't have, like, I could get rid of what I do have here if I just had some muscles in my arms. But I just don't have as much loose skin. I really have worried about needing to get like skin removal. And I don't think it's going to be, it's not. Like, I look in the mirror, I'm like, yeah, there's some loose skin there, but it's not nearly as much as you would expect right after losing 100 pounds. I'm super happy with that. So the collagen with the weight loss was a game changer for me.
So when she's talking about how you take it and you make it, that's called activation, and that's what the collagen and protein. And these are the two things that Amanda got on. And when you take these two together, it does so many amazing things. There's studies, we can send you the studies, but basically when you take them, you're activating your body's own natural collagen production, and you are aging your cells in reverse. This ages your, so when her sisters are saying she's aging in reverse, it's because of these two things. And so activation is so powerful because most supplements that you take, you're just replenishing what your body doesn't make anymore. These actually activate your body, your cells and your genes to behave the way that God intended them to before life took its toll on us. So they are incredible, and they're so science-backed, and that's what I love. I'm very careful about what I share because there's a lot of false claims. And when you have people watching you and taking your advice on where they should spend their money, it's really important to me that the science backs it, and it absolutely does with these. So it has saved Amanda from looking like she's lost 100 pounds. Because yeah, it's activating her collagen. Okay, so you've lost 100 pounds. I lost 35 pounds, gained 12 of them back. And then I'll let you share why you're excited, but I'll just share real quickly. I was really, really blessed and earned a chance to get on this GLP-1 activator from this collagen company earlier than it was released. There were 55 of us that earned the chance. And so I've been on this for about 5.5, 6 weeks. In that time, I've lost a lot of inches. I just took my final after pictures because we have conference next week and they're going to show my pictures. But I need to do my measurements again, tally up all the inches, but it is insane. I've lost 6 of the 12 pounds that I gained back, but my the whole structure of my body is changing. And the amazing thing is I was able to wean off my synthetic GLP-1 that was giving me a lot of nasty side effects. So before getting on this GLP-1 activator, I was gaining weight even though I was increasing my dose of the synthetic. And now the first week I took a full dose, the second week I took a half dose, and then the third week I took a quarter dose. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you that you can do this, but that's what I did to get off the semaglutide. And during those 3 weeks, I lost half of the weight I had gained back in the last year. And so to be able to activate my body to do that on its own is such a relief. I'm kind of a hippie. Like I was like, don't use microwaves. I don't use a microwave. I don't drink soda. Like I try not to be on any prescriptions. But in my mind, I was like, I'd rather be on a prescription now than end up with diabetes and have to do that later. So that's how I was justifying it. But as the side effects started to stack up and then the weight loss, the weight was coming back on, I was like, what am I even doing? And so to be off of that and still losing the weight and the inches, like, and I have incredible energy. I am sleeping better. I am pooping so much, which, if you know anything about the synthetic ones, they slow everything down.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can get paralysis of the stomach and all this awful stuff that was just terrifying to me. But I was so desperate to not blow up like a balloon that it was worth it to me. And so just, I cried last night thinking about all the people that this product is going to empower to take their life back over, because I think especially for women, it's so much more than just the number on the scale. It is how you feel when you look in the mirror. It is how you feel when you put your clothes on. And when you're constantly uncomfortable in your own body, you're not as productive, you're not as nice to your kids, you're not as fun to be around, because it's just this lingering thing of why can't I do better? Why can't I look like her? Why can't I? And it's probably not your fault. You know, it's probably that we need to bring our bodies back in balance, and that's what this does. So you've obviously had amazing success on the synthetic. What is your reasoning for wanting to go on the natural?
Similar to yours. So I started it to save my life, to be able, like, I needed to lose the weight. And for me, like you said, there are side effects. Having a conversation with my husband and my practitioner and weighing those side effects and long-term results versus the benefits, the benefit of losing 100 pounds and getting my weight back under control absolutely was more like, it's that balancing act, and it was more important. And because my life, like, because I needed the medication to lose the weight, I was willing to stay on it forever if I had to. Like, that was a conversation I had with my practitioner, with my husband, and I didn't, I'm I'm not quite as hippie as you, but I'm trying as I get older to make better, healthier choices, and cutting out pharmaceutical like drugs is one of those things that I want to do as much as possible. Um, and but I was prepared that if this is, I mean, for me, it was kind of like treating anxiety. Like, if the medication's what I need to treat it, then I will, and that's the only option. But if you can come up with a better way, a healthier way to do it, that's better than the pharmaceutical. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so now I hit that. I work with a lot of people who are with LifeVantage, a lot of my clients. And so I knew this was coming out, and I've been very skeptical, to be honest. Very
So
skeptical. But as I've watched you, and I've watched so many of the other 55 who are on it over the last couple months, and I am just shocked by the results. And so I, also not a doctor, so I talked to my sister slash physician, who also, she's integrative medicine, so she's way into the healthier options versus pharmaceutical, but can do both. She's like, yes, absolutely. If you can move to a natural alternative that will help you maintain, let's work you towards that. And so I am currently moving into maintenance. I am currently working on lowering my dose to get to a point that I can do like you, and with my physician's assistance, move from a pharmaceutical to the natural activating GLP-1. And if all goes as everyone else is going, it will do like you're doing, and I will move straight from one to the other and maintain my weight, maintain the lack of food noise, maybe lose some more inches, because when you go from a pharmaceutical created hormone to a naturally created hormone, the naturally works better in your body, and can be more targeted in what your body needs. And so that's my goal. I mean, I don't know if I'll lose more. That's not for me a big deal. What I want is to be able to maintain where I'm at in a healthier way. And so I am really excited about this product coming out next week. I'm a huge fan of the medication, but not everyone can qualify for the medication. Medication's super expensive. Your BMI has to be a certain level. You have to find a physician you're willing to work with. I am not a fan of online random find some doctor and send it to you. That's what I did the very first time, and I had a horrific experience for 3 months. I was sicker than a dog. So like any pharmaceutical, you have to do it in conjunction with a physician you trust and someone you know that you can communicate with. And it's not something that everyone should just go out and do. And I love the idea that, like you were saying, for the rest of the world, that that's not the right thing, or that it's looking for a healthier option, that there is going to be this option out there that has the science backing it. And I can't wait.
And it's more affordable. I mean,
Yeah.
I was paying 500 a month. You said you were paying 600 or 700 a month. And this is going to be under 200. And so, and even like, I saw Sean and Michelle were on, they're both really trim, fit people, and they were part of the 55 that got to take it. And their muscles are like
Yeah.
popping. And that, so the synthetic ones, they talk about how, yes, they make you skinnier, but it's a fat skinny because they're eating away at your muscle. And so you're actually losing muscle and you have more fat, even though you look smaller. And when you activate your natural GLP-1, that is not the case. Like everybody's looking so defined. And that to me is so exciting too, because as we age, it's so important that we maintain our muscle. And so that was another thing that really just scared the heck out of me about being on the synthetic, is like, I want to be able to like get up and down off the floor with my grandkids one day. You know, I don't want to eat away all my muscle. So there's just so much that's so exciting
And I'm
about it.
really
Like,
excited. Oh, sorry.
yeah,
I'm really
I
excited
can
about,
hardly sleep because I know it's going to help so many people.
for me, there's so many things I'm really excited about, but honestly, the thing I'm most excited about is watching your guys' energy level. One of the side effects of synthetic GLP-1 is it makes you tired because it's just slowing everything down. I have been tired for a year.
Yeah.
I'm always tired, but it's a different kind of tired than normal tired.
Right.
And I'm watching all of you running around like Energizer bunnies, and I'm like, oh, I kind of want that. Like, I really want that level of energy while my body is maintaining and producing its own GLP-1 is, for me, getting off of it and then having my energy back. I am so excited for that.
So just in full transparency, I do feel like I have more energy. Like yesterday, I had to go to a lunch without taking. So the GLP-1 activator is 2 pills that you take first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, and then you wait 30 minutes before you have any calories. And then there's just a powder that you can add to any beverage, water, coffee, protein, doesn't matter. But I had to go to an appointment that I had to be fasted for, so I didn't take the powder. And I went to lunch with a friend after my appointment, and she actually said to me, because I kept yawning, she goes, "Am I boring you?" I was like, "No, I'm like, I'm just so tired." And in the moment, I didn't realize it, but it was because I hadn't taken the powder. And I had just been telling Kayla Gibson, who's also on it, I'm like, "I'm jealous. I don't feel like I have the energy you have." And she said, "Well, Tracy, like you were on a synthetic for 2+ years. Like your body's still probably trying to get rid of that." And I was like, "Good point." But then after I got home, I took the powder and I perked up and I was like, oh, I might not have like the crazy energy that everybody else has yet. I know it's coming, but it's definitely, it's kind of one of those things where you don't always realize until you don't have it, you know? But I was like, oh my gosh, like I do have so much more energy than I used to. So it's just super exciting. Amanda is she doesn't like talk about it a ton, but she is a rep for these products. So if you know her, you can reach out to her and she will help you. Or of course you can talk to me. It launches on Friday. It's going to be huge. And I'm just so excited because if us 55 are seeing these results, like I can't even imagine what's going to be happening in a couple months when more people are on it. So Amanda, thank you for sharing your story, for being vulnerable, for giving people hope. And I just love you. And I'm really glad you listened to me when I told you to stop drinking that crappy
I am
powdered
too.
pellet.
It has been, I mean, all of it. You gave me collagen, then I got on for Tandem. Axio is a game changer. All of it. I love all their products. So
these products are insanely amazing, and I just feel really blessed that we get to share them with people because they are life changers. So
absolutely.
thank you so much for your time. I love you dearly. And if you guys have any questions, reach out to us and have the best day. Bye.